Benchmark, the voice of business. Presented by LMD.
On this edition of Benchmark, we are discussing Sri Lanka's telecommunications industry today, and we've invited Jinesh Hegde, the CEO and Managing Director of Bharti Airtel Lanka, to address some of the issues facing the industry. Then, Hasta Premaratna, market analyst and LMD columnist, gives us his take on the economy and the Colombo Wars. And Mihirani Disanayaka, country manager of TNS Lanka, wraps up the show as she analyzes the results of TNS's survey on aid and donor assistance. That's the lineup for Benchmark.
Hello and welcome to the Big Picture Business Program Benchmark. I'm Savitri Rodrigo. In the hot seat today is the CEO and Managing Director of Bharti Airtel Lanka, Jinesh Hegde, one of the leading players in Sri Lanka's telecom industry, and we will be talking to Jinesh about the issues concerning the telecommunications industry and also some of the global paradigms that are emerging and some things that Sri Lanka needs to be aware of. So welcome, Jinesh. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Savitri. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
So give me a little bit of a synopsis of what the telecom industry is looking like these days.
In Sri Lanka?
Yes.
Okay, great. I think if you look at Sri Lanka, if you compare Sri Lanka to some of the low middle income economies in Southeast Asia, Sri Lanka is ahead of the curve. We are better in terms of mobile penetration. We are better in terms of mobile broadband penetration, and also consumption per customer. We are better than most of the countries, even compared to India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Myanmar, Philippines. So we are ahead of the curve. Having said that, we also have some more opportunities. With smartphone penetration, currently it's around 30% of the handset base is on smartphone. 70% is on feature phone. So as the smartphone penetration increases, we see higher adoption of data and subsequently internet and content with the internet. So that's an opportunity for the industry. We've got 5 operators here, and we believe that that Sri Lanka, the tariffs is one of the lowest in the world. And that's probably helping Sri Lankan consumers to adopt more and more services in mobile telecommunication. Having said that, we have 2 large challenges as per me. One is we have got too many regulation on pricing. That really restricts the innovation in terms of pricing, bringing in new products, and getting some of the innovations of multiple various countries where we have innovated. Those innovations we are unable to bring in here because of that restriction. And number 2, there is no regulation on infrastructure sharing. And that, I believe, is a major opportunity for telecommunication in Sri Lanka.
Speaking of the 5 operators, how would you rate the level of competition in the local market?
It's intense, but it's good for consumer because consumer gets the best out of each of the 5 operators. But I would look differently here. I would look competition in through different lenses. Actually, we can really cooperate. There's enough room. If you see Sri Lanka, though it's 100% penetrated, but if you remove the dual SIM, even regulation allows a customer to carry 5 SIMs. If you negate the effect of multiple SIMs, then it will be around 60% penetration. So that's enough opportunity for all the operators to further build the business case. And also with the smartphone penetration, internet adoption will be higher, content adoption will be higher, and naturally usage. So I see a lot of opportunity for us, all the operators.
Now you mentioned that Sri Lanka has some of the lowest data charges and also the continuous growth in demand for data traffic. Is this the way forward?
I think that's a very good question you've asked. Naturally, when I said that Sri Lanka is ahead when we compare to some of the low and middle income economies. But I think this is one area where we must start focusing on. We should see there's a lot of urbanization happening. You have people moving from rural areas to urban areas for jobs and so on and so forth. You already have a lot of capacity constraint in Western province, Western and some of the Eastern and some of the Central province. So we need to accept the fact that we need to really bring some regulation in capacity management. You already have a lot of issues already. Every customer adoption on data brings pressure on networks. Every additional content a customer downloads, that builds pressure on the capacity. As the content is becoming more, it's evolving, like now you see HD more on the HD side, high resolution content, it will be a lot of pressure on the infrastructure. So I believe that this is a time when all operators come together, work with the regulator, and we look at some partnership around building capacities. You see 50% of telecom operators spends is on network, building network infrastructure. And we hardly have any partnership there. Very less, very passive infrastructure sharing is there, but there's a very small part of sharing. If we can really open up, if you really share the infrastructure, we can save 30%. And that's a huge cost which is sitting just because we don't have regulation around that. If we can, and that's been our intention when we talk to regulator, when we talk to other operators, we got to look at sharing the capacity. There's a lot of idle capacity in some of the operators. If we can really utilize that idle capacity through sharing, we can actually really offer much better quality of service to consumers.
Tell me about the impact that taxation is going to have on your profitability as well as on the consumer. We're seeing a VAT slab of 15% and a nation building tax of 2% being added, which is going to take up the slice of taxation on voice and data to 50% and 32% respectively. That's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And say we completely understand that we support the government here. Government has to address short-term fiscal issues in terms of both deficit as well as balance of payments. And they are looking for short-term taxation. And we completely support the government here. However, we also need to see with this implementation of taxes, customer consumption has come down. And that has impacted all operators' revenue. And also it will impact government's tax income. So that's on a short term we see a challenge because of almost on an average around 22% of taxes which has gone up. So however, we see over a period of few quarters, we expect customers to come back to the original consumption. And we hope that government will relook at the taxation some point in time once they are better off in terms of balance of payments as well of fiscal consolidation.
Now you mentioned customer usage coming down. How have free voice VoIP apps sort of impacted the usage of customers?
Yeah, I mean that's one challenge we have to accept with the penetration of smartphone increasing day on day. Adoption of customers towards, I mean, the calls will go towards VoIP. There is a lot of arbitrage between cost when you take the call through VoIP versus normal networks, mobile networks. So fact of the matter is month on month we'll see IDD revenues coming down, and that we should accept it. However, that is getting replaced with data revenue. But that's a fact. I mean, for the industry, there will be pressure on international voice.
Fitch Ratings recently said that both Dialog Telecom and Dialog Axiata and Sri Lanka Telecom will soon be merging and acquiring smaller telcos to strengthen their presence and consolidate their position. Do you think there's going to be more mergers and acquisitions across the industry?
See, I personally believe there is a lot of opportunity for consolidation. Consolidation in terms of infrastructure, consolidation and partnership in terms of looking for some of the areas like infrastructure sharing, inter-operator sharing. So we have a lot of experiences which each of the operator. We should look at more and more partnership so that we can actually bring products and services which add value to all of us. But yes, there is a need for consolidation, but largely in the area of infrastructure sharing.
Well, we can't let you go right now because we are only going to stop for a commercial break and we'll be back to discuss the telecom industry with you. So, we are chatting with Jinesh Hegde, who's the CEO and Managing Director of Bharti Airtel Lanka. When we return with him, we will be asking him to expand on the role of telcos in the development of smart cities and also the challenges that the telecom industry faces in reaching out to rural areas. Stay with us.
When we entered the industry in 1995, a new star was born as a fully owned subsidiary of People's Bank. For those seeking to grow their businesses, PLC provided the seed. We are not only Sri Lanka's #1 leasing company, but also the largest non-banking financial institution. Welcome to a new dawn for the nation. Introducing People's Leasing and Finance, PLC. We understand that savings provide for life's special moments. That's why we were the first bank to introduce an incentivized savings scheme, Pathum Vimana. We changed how a nation felt about savings because we believe in banking beyond transactions. HNB, your partner in progress.
Thank you for staying with us on Benchmark. We continue our discussion with the CEO and Managing Director of Bharti Airtel Lanka, Jinesh Hegde. Jinesh, are you satisfied with the level of foreign direct investment that has been infused into the industry?
In fact, when you look at some of the data points which BOI shares, 2014, almost 1.6 billion US dollars came into this country through FDI. And 2015, almost 1 billion US dollars was pumped in through FDI. And in both the years, 30% was contributed by telcos. I think that's substantial portion of FDI coming in from telecom industry per se. So I see telecom will continue to invest. Personally, I mean, for Airtel, we have invested $400 million since we have launched, and we continue to launch. We continue to expand our networks, especially in eastern and northern side, and we continue to expand on capacities in western and central provinces. So telecom will continue to invest, and this is an industry. As the evolution happens in the services, you need investment. As the capacity gets choked, you need investment. So investment will come.
So speaking of evolution, Jinesh, I'm sure there are numerous challenges that face the industry in reaching out to rural areas when it comes to network coverage and broadband coverage. Tell me about those challenges.
Yeah, naturally, urban areas give better return on investment. When you go to rural areas, of course, there's a limitation in terms of return on investment because of density of population is less, and also the terrain which you have to cover. It's difficult to build networks in rural areas. So one has to look at more innovative ways of reaching out, connect the rural areas. We have issues in terms of power, electricity availability. We have issues in terms of building a network there. Here, we really look forward to the regulator and government to see how we can partner and build networks in rural areas.
Jinesh, Sri Lanka has been great in actually being on par with global trends for the most part. But what are the latest global trends, the paradigms that you see that we need to be aware of and maybe infuse into the country?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the world, at what pace you saw innovation and speed of growth in telecom last 5 years, what you see next 1 year, 2 years is completely different. You see rapid innovation, and especially when I look at Sri Lanka, we have already a lot of connected devices already in Sri Lanka. As the connected devices increase, when I say connected devices, means a device which is already connected. For example, a box, for example, taxis, kangaroo taxi. The box which is a connected device. So as these boxes arrive in this country, you will see more and more innovation. There's a whole lot of things happening across the globe, especially on Internet of Things, machine-to-machine communication. You've heard a lot of innovations happening in US, a lot of innovations happening in South Asia, like mobile commerce, mobile banking. You have government-to-government engagement, you have government-to-consumer, you have business-to-business engagement. There's a whole lot of things happening, and we can learn from what's happening around the world, and we can bring out to Sri Lanka.
Now, Singapore has a Smart Nation program. What is the role that telecom companies can play in the future of actually mooting the development of smart cities?
This is a good question, and I think this we see as an opportunity. So it's how we integrate our business plan with vision of government. Naturally, government has a vision to integrate all the information of a city, whether it is health information, whether it is government, some of the utility information. So all this information, they want operator like us to integrate and offer it to our customers. So there's a huge opportunity for operator like us. Work with some of the innovators, work with the platform developers, app developers of Sri Lanka, create content for Sri Lanka, which will create jobs for local people here, and partner with them. We already have some program going on where 70% of revenue is shared with developers and 30% we keep. We already have very good ecosystem of innovators and developers in Sri Lanka, and our intention to continue to work with them, see how we can integrate some of the assets of government, and take this information to consumers on mobile. Very interesting trend which is emerging. Already 70% of internet is accessed through mobile.
Thank you very much, Jinesh. It's been great talking to you. We've been discussing the telecommunication industry with Jinesh Hegde, who is the CEO and Managing Director of Bharti Airtel Lanka. On the other side, we have Anushan Selvaraja with the macro picture.
Sri Lanka's #1 leasing company is now the nation's largest and highest rated finance company with 2 international ratings. Let us move the nation as one with People's Leasing and Finance PLC. Sri Lanka's #1 leasing company is now the nation's largest and highest rated finance company with 2 international ratings. Let us move the nation as one with People's Leasing and Finance PLC.
Nearly 60% of all businesses in our country are SMEs. Some of our most growth-oriented financial solutions have been customized to serve this sector. That's why we have invested over 500 billion rupees to support the backbone of our economy. Because we believe in banking beyond transactions. HNB, your partner in progress.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Anushan Selvaraja. We'll now take a closer look at the latest on the bourse, and joining me is market analyst and LMD columnist Hasita Premratna. Welcome back, Hasita. Now to start off with, just give us a brief overview of how the bourse is performing at this point of time.
Yeah, the market has been highly volatile. Of course, there have been a series of events that have been taking place in both global front as well as in the local economic context and in the political front, which has brought a lot of uncertainty into the investors' mind, which in turn has resulted in the market remaining highly volatile. So we saw in the last couple of months, first the index crossing about 6,600 levels from about 6,200 levels, which was a marked improvement in the month of April, and then we saw the market again slightly dropping during the month of late May and towards early part of June, mainly because of some of these uncertainties created due to the changes in the tax system. On top of that, we also saw the global side, there were issues related to the US economy showing signs of slowing down, and as a result of that, obviously the US interest rates which were to be increased in June came under scrutiny again, and that created uncertainty in the global markets as well. And apart from that, we also saw on a positive side the Sri Lanka getting closer to the GSP plus concessions, which currently being foreseen to come in the month of January 2017, which really gave some positive momentum to the market. But having said that, of course, we had a couple of natural disaster in the form of floods, which also had an impact to the market. So these pluses and minuses created a bunch of uncertain events, which in turn led to a serious volatility in the market in the last few months.
Let's take the minuses, Hasita. You mentioned the tax regime, this ad hoc tax regime. It certainly seems to be going nowhere. Now, how is this affecting investor sentiment and the bourse?
Yeah, I think this conversation about the capital gains tax being introduced, it has been spoken for about 3-4 times in the last 3 months. So the one issue is that there is rumors that come before and after some form of a formal announcement. And first of all, it came as if that the share transaction levy of 0.3% was to be eliminated, and then in place of that the capital gains tax to come, and later on it was concluded and announced that the share transaction levy will be reimposed and the capital gains tax will not apply for to the share market. And again, now there was some speculation that the capital gains tax may come back, and then with that it was not clear whether it's applicable to the capital market or not. So I think the issue is not bringing taxes or introducing taxes or increasing the tax rates. The issue is the ad hoc announcements that have been made by different parties, starting from Prime Minister to Finance Minister to different ministers in the cabinet to MPs. So there are different people voicing different opinions, different messages, which gives wrong signals to the investor community. And what investors hate is to see this uncertainty.
Right.
What they want really is to, even if the rates go up, it doesn't matter, but if it's announced once and for all, and if they can adjust the businesses and get on with life, that's the best thing. But today's situation is that any announcement that comes in, you're not sure whether tomorrow it will be taken aback and something else will come in.
Let's move on to the pluses and Hasita. Now the IMF agreement came through for us, and now we're moving closer to the GSP plus concession as well. What are the pros and cons of these?
Yeah, so this government's biggest strength has been good foreign relations, led by the good governance theme and the better social environment to be created here. I think that with that, the mandate was very clear that the government was trying to improve the foreign relations, which they have done tremendously well in that front. And as a result of that, obviously, one would expect those foreign relations, to transform into economic benefit. So after almost 1.5 years from the new government coming into, I think the new president coming into play, we saw the fishing ban to Europe being removed, which is a big plus. And with that, it also gave the hope of GSP plus, which was supposed to be followed up, and now the application is going anytime soon. And obviously, the informal feedback is that chances are pretty strong for us to regain it in early 2017. So this is clear transition of good foreign relations into economic benefit through trade agreements, etc. So I think this is very important because Sri Lankan economy needs to boost exports, and if you want to boost the exports, you need the duty concessions, because right now we don't have any meaningful duty benefits to any large economy. So Europe getting this will be crucial for us, and obviously to bring more stability to the exporters' mind. So apart from that, also I think the IMF loan, which was confirmed and approved by the IMF board recently. Again, there were multiple announcements that came at different times, which I thought was a little bit not unnecessary. But then, having said that, it looks like it's going to come in the next few months, and that has definitely given a boost to the overall investor confidence, because it's only $1.5 billion that's confirmed, and probably extended into a larger amount. But what it also does is it gives the other foreign investors confidence on government's strategy and government's way forward, because there is IMF proposal and the aid or the loans that are coming in. So obviously that should boost the conditions, economic conditions, and the inflows to the country. And we are already seeing a few more conversations around foreign funding coming through Japan, China, restarting some of these projects, and also I think a few of the Middle Eastern markets to be tapped at a low interest rate compared to what is going on today in the commercial bond markets.
Thank you for joining us, Hasita.
Thank you.
That was market analyst and LMD columnist Hasita Premratna. After a short commercial break, we will take a closer look at the latest on the LMD TNS survey. Stay tuned.
When we entered the industry in 1995, a new star was born as a fully owned subsidiary of People's Bank. For those seeking to grow their businesses, PLC provided the seed. We are not only Sri Lanka's #1 leasing company, but also the largest non-banking financial institution. Welcome to a new dawn for the nation. Introducing People's Leasing and Finance, PLC. Gami Pubudua, our microfinance offering, makes it possible for the youth of this country who have a viable business plan but lack the funds to realize their dreams. We are committed to grassroots level entrepreneur development because we believe in banking beyond transactions. HNB, your partner in progress.
Hello and welcome back to Benchmark. I'm Anushan Selvaraja. We'll now take a closer look at the latest on the LMD TNS survey, and joining us is the country manager of TNS Lanka, Mihirani Disanayaka. Welcome back, Mihirani. Now, to begin with, to get us started, just give us a brief overview of the survey.
Okay, Anushan, the June month study was about Sri Lankan citizens' opinion about this foreign aid to the country, and need and will we depend on foreign aid continuously.
So does Sri Lanka need this foreign assistance or aid, and will we continue to need such assistance?
If you actually look at survey results, 8 out of 10 people believe that the country need the donor assistance, simply because to carry on our development initiatives, as well as they believe the country doesn't have enough money generated within, so they will need that money. At the same time, 1 out of 10 people believe that we need to try and reduce borrowings and utilize our resources to the maximum level possible. The second part of the question was whether we'll rely on donor assistance in the future. 60% of people believe that we will we have to rely, the nations like us will need that assistance going forward. At the same time, 2 out of 10 people believe that when we come to the developed stage, we can live away without donor assistance going forward.
So is the aid that we receive, is it being put to good use?
It just half of the sample, the respondents that we have spoken to, believe that we are using the money that we are receiving to the level best possible. 1/3 believe that due to unnecessary expenses that government has or different people have in the country, we probably can improve the way we use money in this country.
Where do respondents stand on the conditions that have been attached to this foreign assistance that we have received?
Study results clearly shows that majority in the country are aware that the foreign aid are coming with so many conditions. 81% believe that this aids are coming along with the conditions and we have to work with that.
What then needs to be done, Mihirani, moving forward to improve the situation?
2 key suggestions by the citizens of this country. One is clearly focus on domestic production, increase economic development of this country.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mihirani.
Thank you, Anusha.
That was the country manager of TNS Lanka, Mihirani Disanaika. Thank you for watching Benchmark, and we hope to see you again next time.